Our next speaker, we're going to be entering pillar number 3, which is about identifying hidden work stresses. And our next speaker is going to be talking about emotions, suppressing emotions. So to help us with that, we have Nada. He's an emotional resilience expert with over 25 years of experience, transforming cultures of silence in the space of trust and connection. He's the creator of the 3R framework, and today he's going to be shining light on one of the most overlooked drivers of burnout, which is suppressed emotions. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome Nada.
I'm going to start with a little bit of bad news. AI is not going to end the world. Okay? And the reason is this. A lot of us think that AI is the biggest threat to the workplace today. How many of you agree with that? Oh, all of you so safe in your job. That's good to know. I'm finishing my speech now, we can go back. But a lot of times when we think about what is a big threat to our company, we think it's either AI, our staff, they're lazy, or maybe there's poor strategy. We just don't have the right strategy to move forward. Unfortunately, that's not the biggest threat. What's really going to hit us is actually silence. And I'm going to try and tell you why. Right? Back in 2007, in the month of June, my partner and I was just awarded a contract to review a set of competency standards for Singapore. It's a national competency standard. To do this work, we actually have to engage all the market expertise, all the experience that there is to collate information. Let me ask you if you've ever felt this. Have you ever stood in front of a group of people, kind of like this, where you feel everyone is more like a hungry lion or a hungry tiger rather than friends and colleagues? Okay, no need to put hand, just nod the head, right? That's how I felt. Because on that morning when I stood in front of 17 of the most experienced, most qualified trainers, consultants, administrators, all of them were looking at me and I felt that they were going to eat me. For 2 hours, every question I threw out, very much like this. Either they don't answer or they're going to talk to each other and say, no, this is not the right way, no, this is how it should be done. So they were not forthcoming. Every suggestion I put forth to them, that's crazy. That's impossible. So as much as I tried to keep the discussion going, among the 17 of them, it felt like they were just having their own talk, their own party. And I'm just standing there, stack of files to go through. Nothing was moving. I remember thinking to myself, these guys have been in this game way too long. They don't want change. They're resisting change. So far, how many of you would agree with that assessment? Okay, again, just not is good enough. What saved me in that morning, after about 2 hours, was what you guys just had, tea break. All of them went out of the room. I strategically stayed back, arranged my files, make it look important. But what's really happening is I was defeated. I don't know how I'm going to continue on. I stood, I took a few deep breaths, thinking I need to compose myself. Instead, the manager of the program, she came in from the door. She walked towards me, and guess what she was carrying? Another stack of files. Handed it to me, and I was thinking, I haven't even gone through the first one. I'm taking more files to add to the untouched files. I shook my head, I laughed, this is turning out to be a nightmare. As she looked at me, she took her time. I stood up, I looked at her. Why is she still standing there? And that's when she asked me a very, very simple question. I've worked with her on other projects, right? And she's worked with all the other consultants and trainers. And she said this, you know, Nadam, back then I had another name, but let's use Nadam. You know, Nadam, everyone is talking. They're saying a lot of things. But why is it that no one is truly saying what's in their mind, what's in their heart? Everyone's just making noise. For 1 second, that question hit me in the gut. Immediately I went like, why is no one speaking their mind? It's because they were actually afraid, right? They were feeling nervous about what was happening. A lot of them had, if I had that magic wand back then, I would have seen all these bubbles coming up, but it's just that no one was actually saying all these things, right? Back then, this is the only guy who's seen me when I still had hair on. Back then, I was still considered a young one. Now, not so young. All these young people, I want to take over, right? How come need to change? Well, another set of standards. Why? Want to control how I do business. You know, all these thoughts were coming up, but it's just not being said. The reason is because there was so much fear, and most of them were really angry at what's happening in the room. What were they afraid of? I could sum it up in one person. The director of that program was sitting in the room after she gave her opening speech. So she was sitting right there, she's watching everyone, she's going like, oh, yeah, okay. Everyone was scared. If I were to say, I don't agree, okay, he doesn't agree, okay. Or if they say, I have a better idea, you think you have a better idea, okay. So it was actually a lot of fear and anger that was holding the room that afternoon. It was masquerading, as far as I know, as a resistance to change. Thankfully, when the tea break came back and all of them were seated, I saw one person missing from the crowd. Anyone want to guess who was missing? Oh, thank you so much. Were you there in the room, sir? So what I did is, I decided we need to set a new tone, right? We needed to feel safe. When everyone was seated, I invited them. I said, hey, you know, I understand we were all a bit nervous. There was a lot of energy going on in the morning, and we couldn't really say what we want to really express. I know because I'm there too. I'm in the room with you, and I felt a lot of what you felt. So we're going to take the next half of this day, and as long as we need, why don't we take the time and list down all your concerns? Let's put it on the board. Yeah, that's the first thing we want to do. Now, you would be wondering what this new set of competency standards that you're developing is going to do to you and your business. So what we're going to do is list that down so that we know what they are. And as we create the new set of competency standards, let's see if we can create it in such a way that these standards helps us address those concerns, those fears that we have. Very importantly, I said, let's not judge each other. Let's just put it out there, because very likely we all are facing the same fears. How about that? And surprisingly, ideas began to flow. People began to talk. And they're not talking at each other. They're now saying, I've done this before, or I've seen this before. So a lot of things started coming out. So although we took extra time to do that one exercise, there was 2 hours until we went for lunch, and then we had another 1.5 hours after lunch doing that, we still managed to complete the discussion in time. They were still fighting with each other. Certain points, they were really hotly debating it. No, yeah. So you got this party and this. But we managed to come to conclusion. We agree that we will do A because it addresses all the concerns we put up there, and it's good as a standard. That's what happened for the 3 days. The work has evolved. It's come to a different name right now, but it's still 60% of it. You can find it in the new current standard in Singapore. So what changed? The people in the room, including you, sir, stayed the same. They didn't suddenly become something else. It was the same people in the room. This is in 2007. No such thing as ChatGPT. I can now go and Google something up. It didn't happen back then, right? So what actually changed? They felt safe. Previously, no one was speaking up because there was so much fear in the room. And that's the only thing that changed. Back in 2012, Google's Project Aristotle found out that for the highest performing teams in some of the best companies in the world, it's not that they have the best brains or the most experience. These are teams that actually felt safe to say, I don't think that's going to work. In that room, everyone was not talking because of that suppression. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. I guess I need to reinforce that statement. So, the elephant in the room that day, when you suppress emotions, you are actually really suppressing performance. Now, let's see what it actually looks like. I need someone from the back of the room. It's only 4 rows, but maybe the third or the fourth row. Because you know why? When they say someone from the back of the room, usually it's because they sit there, they don't want to be seen, or they are not being acknowledged. So I'm doing both. I'm acknowledging you guys, and I see you guys. I need someone who is strong and capable from the third and fourth row. Anyone? Anyone? You go lah, you go lah. What fear are you suppressing right now? One person, come up here, please. All right. Yes. That's what we always do. She forced me. He pushed me. What's your name? Camille. Camille. Can we give Camille a huge round of applause? Perfect specimen. Now look at him. You think he's strong? Yes. You think he's capable? Yes. You think he's brave? Yes. No. She forced one. Now, Camille has just been elected as your MVP. Your best performing staff, 2004, 2005. Yeah? And he's only got a simple task for me today. You stand over here. Your task is to not let any of the objects I'm passing to you fall. Okay. You just got to hold on to it. Okay. And it's simple. I'm sure you can hold on to. Easy, right? one ping pong ball. You think he can handle? Oh, wow, he's capable of multitasking. You think he can handle more?
It's very limited, my capacity.
Well, more? Now, what do these ping pong balls represent? Work. Oh, not bad. What else? Emotions. Oh, thank you. This is what it looks like when we start having emotions. They start very small, very light. Obviously, that one got no capacity to hold on to emotions. Right? Now, we come back to the ping pong balls later on. His hands are full. But he's going to have to find a way to hold on to something a little bit more challenging. Well done. Your emotion starts to get more colorful, slightly bigger, still air. Not bad. You got to find a way to hold this one. I don't know how you're going to do it. Not bad, right? And then, I think this is going to be, our emotion starts to get the better of us. Who wants to try? Our next MVP. You know, our emotions get a bit fuzzy. It gets comfortable. It gets a bit stronger. How are you going to... Let's try again. Okay, not bad. He's holding on. And at times, I'm not going to throw it at her, poor thing. At times, squeeze it. It gets to be so comfortable for us, it's like a squeeze. Oh my God, this feels good. It relaxes us. Right? One more. Not bad. You got one more here. Let's do it. Champion. He's the most capable. Come on. Hold it.
Okay, I'm holding.
Hold it. What you're looking at is functional burnout. May I borrow your book?
Sure.
Now, if you came up to him, Camille, can I please have your signature? This looks like a capable person. Thank you very much. Your staff is looking like this. And it's not just Camille. It's everyone in the organization. And if that you think is challenging, he's already anticipating. Once in a while, we get something so big. Maybe it's a call from the hospital. Camille, we've got bad news for you. How is he going to function? Ladies and gentlemen, please give Camille a big round of applause. Thank you so much. Don't worry about it. Leave it. He's got balls coming out from everywhere. Thank you. How many of you can relate to Camille? Thank you. We're not done. I'd like to show you this. About Camille, you might like to look up Dr. John Sarno. He's from NYU. He's no longer with us. But he actually said this. When you hold on to emotions, it's not just holding on for the sake of holding on. You actually need energy. He's holding on, he's using the energy to keep the emotions within him. But over time, this energy gets taken away from his ability to connect with a person, his ability to be creative. Keep him here for a few more hours, his ability to smile goes to like, right? So when we hold back emotions, it actually takes away from our life. HR professionals, individuals, even think about your family and friends. I'd like you to visualize this bottle as your people. This bottle of carbonated water. It's pressurized, right? This is Camille holding on to all that emotions, all the little balls. As we go through life, we shake it a bit more. And if I were to open this here, suddenly she went like, if I open this here, she went like, she woke up. But this is what's happening, isn't it? To get into the water, the good stuff, it's in there. I need to get this open. Your people are going through this. That's the value of your people. You want to maximize human capital. But how are you going to get into them when it's all pressurized? Anyone want to try? If you open the cap right now, it's going to explode. And you see this happening in organizations. People start screaming at each other. Sudden outbursts, right? Companies suddenly have a rise in workplace accidents. And nothing to do with Jenny, my good friend who's going to come up later. In the financial industry, more and more cases where unethical practices happens. That's why we've got more rules, more regulation, right? Great Eastern. Great company. So, either you explode or the other version is you implode. And what does it look like when you implode? Anyone? The answer was given by Sophie just before me. This thing called quiet quitting. Suddenly, someone just leaves. And the worst case is, and Eric has mentioned this in the morning, I believe in the beginning today too. People are attempting suicides. That's implosion. But there is a way. It's just that we need to know how to open the cap. You need time, you need technique, because I got wet quite a number of times practicing for this. And over time, you realize it is possible to get into the goodness that's inside. Excuse me? It's possible. It's just about getting to know how to get into your stuff. Because you know why? When you keep suppressing emotions, it's going to create stress, it creates frustration, and there's got a lot of uncertainty, right? Agreed? What happens if you keep it there for a while? It starts to fester. What does these three change to? Disengagement, burnout, and of course, quiet quitting. One of the biggest issues that we are all facing right now. Everyone goes home happy. Hey, see you tomorrow, see you tomorrow. Next moment, hey, where did so-and-so go? Where did Nadam go? Yeah? One more time. When you suppress emotions, you are really suppressing performance. Let's sum up the whole thing with this framework. Right? The 3R. Recognize, release, respond. Just with the 17 consultants ultimately became my friend. Yeah? My 17 friends, the first thing we did, we listed out all their fears, all their concerns, what they are worried about. It's out there in the board. You can see it. You recognize what they are feeling. And when they do that, now I know where to aim my effort. Second one is to release those pent-up emotions, just like that bottle there. Find a technique to open it, practice, and with patience, you release the pressure, you get into the goodness of the individual. And when you're able to do this, people no longer react to emotions that come up. People start responding to whatever comes their way. They're no longer reactive. In my 60-minute version of this presentation, we go a lot deeper to help us embed the culture of emotional safety for your leaders, for your organizations. We look at what are some of the daily habits you can practice, you can use on yourself. Some of them, I think this was also Sophie's presentation, where she taught you how to do the box breathing, right? Did you know that this box breathing is so effective that the Navy SEALs in USA, they use this too? Yeah? They don't sleep for, Shakti should be here so that he can verify this. They'll keep you awake for a week and they teach you to use this breathing technique to stay alert. Right? So you are able to now respond to certain situations. If this 15 minutes, we are barely scratching the surface. If this is any consolation to you, think about your people. Think about your staff. What would happen if they felt a little safer? Number two, what if they felt a little lighter? I'm no longer, thank you. We'll always remember him holding on to all the tension. What if they are able to just let go a little bit? What would happen to your organization? Yeah? Remember, when we suppress emotions, we suppress performance. But if we make space for emotions to come out, to rise, use that as a superpower, we actually encourage performance. Let's create that together. Let's talk at the back afterwards. But for now, back to you, Eric.
Thank you so much, Madam. Wow. I love the part about us holding emotion. I mean, we know that theoretically, but it's nice to actually see it in person, right?